stories here!
Greetings and welcome back, everyone. This is Overwatchers, the podcast all about, well, Overwatch. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, he's Patrick Beja, and he is Chris Chan, a.k.a. ChanmanV. Welcome back, guys, and happy holidays, because Winter Wonderland is here! It's here, right now!
You know what?
Finally.
I appreciate the merriment that is going on in the world of Overwatch, but to be honest, I'm a little bit on edge, and I'm really happy that we're here together today, so you guys can help me work through some of my psychological life issues.
Wow, you're getting heavy. This is like that scene in Gremlins
episode.
where the where she talks about finding her father in a Santa costume in the chimney for no reason. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. Don't know why that scene is in there. It's pointless. But
Well,
all right, Patrick, lay it on me.
Let's say we can get to it because it has to do, thankfully, with Overwatch, and so we can talk about it when we start talking about season 3. So I'll get to it,
All right.
and it will be difficult, but we'll work through it together.
All right. Well, in that case, I'll take this moment to thank our supporters and our sponsors, starting with our patrons supporting us over at patreon.com/Overwatchers, who are always sponsoring every episode of Overwatchers. Thank you, guys. And also our sponsor, .game, which you can check out over at get.game. These are .game domains available, pretty much wherever domain names are sold. Obviously, we mentioned already get.game. So go check them out and get yourself a .game domain. I kind of want one, guys. Haven't gotten myself one yet, but I kind of want one.
You know what you need to do. Go to get.game.
That's right.
Yeah. The thing is I kind of want to.
What is wrong with you? Yes, I'm angry. I'm sorry. I'll settle down. Get.game.
Will my game improve though by getting a .game? Because I'm
I
not
heard it not only improves your game, but it actually improves your life. I can't guarantee it, but that's what I heard. I'm just.
What if I ended up registering .game? So then
Dot
That's
game.
what I said last time. Yeah.
Wouldn't that? Well, it was I got game before, but just got game kind of makes a lot of sense, right? If I actually go and get one, that would actually. I might have to do that just for principle's sake.
Fantastic.
Or at least just to make myself laugh. So this joke is actually funny.
Nice. Well, all right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Asterix, results not guaranteed and not typical. So hey, we already mentioned Winter Wonderland, but let's get in there and talk about it because I feel all three of us were pretty blown away by the Halloween event in Overwatch. Where is Winter Wonderland falling? It just launched. We haven't had enough time. Most of us haven't even had a chance to try the Brawl yet. I have already cracked open a few loot boxes and haven't gotten a single skin yet, so I'm a little salty. There's a little salt in my snowballs. But
it's been great. I didn't get as lucky as last time, which was like my very first loot box. I had a legendary. Which one was it? It was either Reaper or I think it was Reaper. Was my very, very first one. So I had the stupid assumption that just everybody got one in their first loot box, and then quickly I was made aware that no, you're just a lucky bastard. It's like basically what people are.
What gave it away? Was it the middle finger emoji I sent you?
Exactly. I just happened to be in a game that literally 3 of us got it, like just legends in the first loot box. So that's why I was like, oh, they must have just been really, really generous with this one. But anyways, for Winter Wonderland, I didn't actually get that lucky. So I got just a couple rares in the first one. But the only skin I've gotten, and I've only gotten probably maybe like 4 loot boxes so far, is the Reaper one. The epic one.
It's really good. The one where he's
cool.
all frosty, and apparently a friend of mine made a point of telling me that I should mention that the back of his shirt is kind of a snow.
It's embossed. It's a snowflake.
Right.
That's like
a
embossed
snowflake,
into it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this thick leather look that has, and then you have the snowflake.
Yes, it's like if you were part of the most festive badass biker club, and
That's
you all went out and got.
You know, it's funny because they managed to make this winter wonderland celebration of happiness into a badass look for Reapers, so it's kind of cool.
I honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I was a little disappointed. I was like, oh, that's so cool. He's like glowing, and there's like cold fog coming out from his face, and I turned him around. I'm like, oh, there's a snowflake. Why you got to put a snowflake on Reaper? No.
Oh, you're disappointed in the snowflake?
Yeah,
Come on.
no, you don't need that
Dude,
stuff, man.
I think that was the best part of it.
He's the walking embodiment of Hot Topic. He doesn't need a snowflake on the back of his trench coat.
Right. No, but that's the only one I've gotten so far. There are a lot of ones that I do want, and comparing it to the Halloween one, I think it lines up pretty well. Like if I think about it just kind of side by side, I feel like skin wise, there's more good epics this time around versus last time. They were definitely the legends were the ones I wanted the most. This one, I feel like they're definitely 3 or 4 epics I really want versus maybe just like one legend skin. There's some like intro videos though, and some of the emotes that are just amazing that are legendaries that will be, that I didn't have to try for last time, that I'm gonna have to probably maybe even buy this time around, because there was a couple of them that are just like, wow, like the Zarya gift opening one isn't that like a legend?
I don't know. I haven't really had time to dive
you haven't
into it.
Seen
the one
it?
where
Zarya has a good one. Yeah.
The one where she opens the thing and she has a teddy bear and she hugs it and the head pops off or something like that.
She has 3 different ones, so that's one of them. Yeah, there's another one where she opens a box, and it's another box, and then she opens it in another box. And
it's a Russian sorting doll, but it's boxes.
Exactly. There's 3 different versions of it, so you just get a random one every time it happens. But it's awesome. I want that one really, really badly.
Yeah, for me, the thing added, the cosmetic item added in this that beats everything else is the Widowmaker highlight intro for me with the mistletoe.
The mistletoe
just makes me so happy. She holds it up and then kicks your butt. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I really like that one. And she like, you can, as always with the animation team on Overwatch, like it almost hurts when she punches you in the face. She's like boom, and you're like, oh my god, okay.
Patrick, is it because you just really wanted to kiss Widowmaker?
That's right.
Well, she's French. I'm like, she's in my league, right? It could happen.
She's in your league.
That's like saying every American girl is in my league because they're from my country.
Well, no, the French have a special thing going on. It's like we're very and we don't really like other people, but when we're with other people from our own country, it's better. I don't know. It's
Patrick, you should be the lead of tourism for France. Come to France. We don't like anyone else.
No, that's the thing.
Exactly. We love each other.
We have too many tourists already, so we're like, yeah, we don't. Yeah.
Well, stop.
Anyway,
such a cool country.
It looks awesome. But the one thing, there are some really cool animations and all of it, but there's also the Brawl, which I don't think, Garrett, you've had time to play, and me neither. So, Chris, you've had to play it like 15 times to win it once, right?
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's I wouldn't say it's as unique as the Halloween one was, given that it was PvE, that completely different type of game type. But this one's pretty cool too. So it's basically all maze, and they changed her kind of left and right click some. So her right click literally does nothing in this. So all you do is left click. You still have the wall though. You still have your ice block, your ice barrier block heal thing. And but what you do is you throw snowballs at each other, and it's a one-shot kill type of brawl. So of course you're throwing a snowball. Once you actually shoot the snowball and you miss, there are little piles of snow that are around the map, and you're playing on the Arctic map, by the way. And so you're running around, and there are little piles of snow, and you have to basically make your snowball. So you have to sit there charging it for like about 3 seconds to make a snowball.
It takes time.
Yeah, and it's 6v6. And just like what you would expect, just last team standing basically gets a point, and it's best of 3. And yeah, so you're running around basically throwing, and you get an achievement if you kill somebody from like 25 meters away. So you throw a long snowball shot, you get this cool just spray.
That's
when
awesome.
you make that achievement.
So it's
But
kind of
it's a
built
lot
around.
of fun, surprisingly. Oh, by the way, the ultimate is basically you have unlimited snowball. You can just like rapid fire snowballs
Oh,
for
very-
like 5 to 7
Ooh,
seconds.
nice.
Like that. Yeah.
So it's kind of built around this inherent vulnerability, right? Because you can only ever have one snowball unless you're ulting, and then you've
Yeah.
got a channel for 3 seconds to build your next 1 out of 1 in the chamber snowball.
Yeah. In the piles, they disappear. So they pop up randomly around the map. So you can't just like camp this one
Sit,
spot. or
you're right.
anything
So just like
that.
real snowball fights, I would assume. I live in Florida. I don't know.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing how bad you can miss when you're just like point blank. And it's like, what? How did I miss that guy? And then he turns around and pops you in the face with a snowball. It's like, shit. Shoot, man, shoot.
So it's a fun brawl, but it's not like the thing you're gonna spend the entire winter wonderland holiday doing. I'm guessing.
No, I don't see you doing. I mean, it's it's like another arcade game. It's just like
Right.
okay, you can. It's just one of the if you feel like it, this day or whatnot. But it's not something I can see people playing every single day for hours or anything like that.
I will be mildly disappointed, I think, for the rest of forever, just because of how cool the co-op Halloween Brawl was. I want to see.
yeah.
I want to see them
Might
play
come
around
back.
with co-op.
There
more.
might be another one day.
Right.
Yeah.
This is not me saying this is the worst thing ever. I can't believe it's not another co-op. This is me just kind of being like, I would love to see what they would do with another co-op if they kind of took the idea and ran with it. So,
Yeah. So we're not done talking about skins, right?
God no.
Okay. I was just gonna make sure, man. We barely
No.
talked. That's like the Zenyatta skin. We
I don't-
talked about this.
I don't care if this podcast is for the most part digested in an audio only format, and we're going to be talking about a strictly visual portion of the game here. We got to talk about these skins. Some of the legendary skins are kind of hilarious. Like I have to get Torbjorn Santa. I just have to. There's no universe where I leave this Christmas season happy without Torbjorn Santa. I am now 5 again, and if I don't get that Jurassic Park toy I wanted, I'm going to be really sad.
He's
So-
well done. He's really, really well done. If you look at the details on him, just with his beard and even the little Christmas trees in the back, and even his weapons, his hammer and his little hook thing, or I think it's a hook, right?
It's kind of
it
like a
just
claw.
Yeah, claw.
I would call
yeah,
it a claw.
Claw would be a better description of it. But it looks like Santa Tinker, workshop type of tools, and there's a couple of them. I feel like the details were just like, oh yeah, it's more the details than the actual novelty of the whole thing. And the Santa Torbjorn and the Tracer one too is really tight too. I think both of them, the Elf Tracer, they did a really good job of just tiny details. Versus just this whole thing like this Nutcracker Zen. That's my personal favorite.
Nutcracker Zenyatta is the stuff of pure nightmares.
It's memes, man.
I
Memes,
don't.
baby.
I do not want to end up in a dark alley with that thing staring at me.
Oh, you're talking about just the look of it?
It's terrifying.
Oh, man.
It's just this dead face, this soulless face.
Oh man, the only thing I think about when I'm watching is that instead of balls, right? He throws nuts at you, so I'm just like, nuts in your face. These nuts. Yeah, I mean that's I'm sorry, it's immature, but that's the first thing that comes to my mind, and it makes it amazing. It makes that skin just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Do they have
Golden
specific
nuts.
sounds?
I don't know yet. I mean, I haven't gotten it yet, so I haven't.
Right.
I know some of the other ones do, right? I think May turns you into a snowman now, right? If you have.
She does?
Yeah, her. Wait, does she actually have a specific skin? I know she turns you into a snowman.
she absolutely does. It's
Yeah,
all
she has
it's all
the
red
Santa.
and green.
Oh yeah, the
Uh,
Santa outfit.
And she has a Santa
So
hat
when-
on, and her
Yeah.
drone has a little bow on top of it. It's adorable.
Yeah. But when she freezes you, she turns you into a snowman.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's pretty cool.
Played a few games. I haven't seen a lot of the Christmas skins in action. I saw a Reaper.
I saw the Roadhog one.
Oh,
God.
I want that. It's so hilarious.
You just love Roadhog. Anything Roadhog, you're game for.
It took me a second to realize, because I read the name and then I was just kind of surfing through the hero collection to look at all the stuff, and I clicked on the Roadhog one, and I'm focusing on the name, and in my periphery I'm like, oh, it's just another red and green skin tint, and then I look over and I'm like,
man.
Rudolph, oh my god, his belly button.
And his hook is a candy cane.
Yeah.
And then have you seen his gun? His gun is by far the best thing.
Yes.
Oh no, I haven't.
It's
God.
It's all Christmas themed, but on it is a little sticker that says from Junkrat, and it's just
no,
amazing.
I gotta send you a
That's
picture
so
of it.
amazing.
You have to see the picture of it, Patrick. And on top of it, I think it's like, isn't it like Santa's sleigh too? Like his gun itself. Let me see if I can find that picture of it. But I thought like the gun itself is designed like it's a sleigh.
Oh, I think I totally
it
missed that.
looks amazing. His gun looks really, really amazing. And you don't actually see it unless you rotate the body, like in the gallery. So definitely do that, guys, because I was already like blown away with everything else, and then I looked at his gun, or I saw somebody post a screenshot of his gun, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I like retweeted it yesterday. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, and it has the little front two Junkrat right on it too.
Yeah.
I'll have to find it. I'll send it to you in a second.
Okay. I'll look for it.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Yeah. Here's my tweet. Let me send it to you.
Fantastic.
It's so good.
The other skin that I really want is Farah's. I think it's just epic with all the ice crystals.
I was gonna say I really like the Farah skin. She looks super badass.
Oh yeah, she's like Elsa, right? Almost.
To me, it looks like something almost out of Warcraft. Like, it just looks like I expect to go up to like Northrend and see this hanging out there.
Yeah,
exactly. She's like this I don't know, frozen queen of badassness. She looks really good.
She has the ice shimmer coming off of her too.
All right, now that I'm looking at this close up of Junkrat or of
maybe it's not
gun, it does not look a damn thing like a sleigh to me, sir.
I don't know why I thought it was a sleigh.
It looks like his normal gun, red and green.
You're right.
But
okay.
but it's from Junkrat.
Yes.
It is from Junkrat.
Yeah,
They also have some sprays where they're lounging in the long chair and fist bumping one the
Yeah, there's some really cool kind of sprays that play around with each other.
Interactions.
Yeah, because there's the Reinhardt fishing, and then it's Farah, I believe, fishing. So that's everyone's freaking out, thinking that's more.
Oh, I missed that one.
Everyone think that's more evidence to the whole Reinhardt is Farah's father theory.
Oh my god! Wow.
I don't know if I buy into that one. I don't know if I buy into that one. But guys, we haven't talked about frickin' Yeti Winston yet.
Yes.
How? What?
Really cool.
I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, and then I'm like, oh my god, his thrusters are made out of friggin' bones. This
you
were saying,
so
Chris,
cool.
it's about the little details, and there's so many little nice touches, like little flourishes that you don't notice the first time you look at this. Short of a glowing freaking Rudolph nose shoved in someone's disgusting belly button, but.
But you have to rotate the characters to really see everything, and most people don't. Most people just look at just what's being shown by default.
There's so much hidden joy just in Overwatch overall. I mean, go back to when we were talking about the Halloween patch, and it's like, guys, take Diva's gravestone, flip it around because there's Doritos back there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was the best one. That was such a nod to the community too. It was amazing. But the thing is, for me, last holiday I had I jumped over from 100 to 1 as the holiday was happening. So I got 25 boxes and got almost all the legendary skins. I don't think I'm gonna get it. It's gonna be karma. I don't think I'm gonna get any this time.
So I'm right at 99, and I was kind of doing that on purpose, but then
they
changed it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh
like that.
man. It sucks. I totally missed out on it, like on the Halloween one. Like I was 50 or something like that, and then now it comes around. I'm like to the end, and it's like, you don't get anything anymore.
No,
but the arcade, there's like a ton of ways to get loot boxes.
They're really the arcade has made getting loot boxes a lot better, and for me a lot more fun. I'm really enjoying the arcade, and now that placement matches are back. I'm really, really enjoying the arcade because I'm just like, placement matches, damn it. So
the arcade is just efficient, like at least until you finish those first 9 wins, because you're getting XP as well as working down those 3 loot boxes you get each week. And then some of them give you a loot box just for getting a win in that specific one, like the 1v1, right?
Well, it depends what your goals are, right? I mean, not everyone cares all that much about cosmetic. I mean, for a lot of people, Overwatch is just a game of climbing that competitive ladder. It's never been my particular jam. I come to Overwatch because it's fun and pretty, and I really like the art. But
yeah, exactly.
So... And any closing thoughts on Winter Wonderland? Well, actually, around the table, what is the one skin you absolutely have to leave this event with?
Zen. There's no questions then. Zenyatta, I have to have that.
You gotta hit people in the face with nuts.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I might even buy the golden nuts too if
oh wow
if it gets to that point. But I wasn't even thinking about it because Zenyatta's not played as much. Actually, I still play Zenyatta on King of the Hill maps, but golden nuts are just, that's going to be hard to pass up to us.
For me, I think I might want Scrooge McCree.
Oh, we didn't even talk about
I really like it. But if not, it would be Reaper or Farah. Either one, or maybe both. I have 300-400 credit, 4,000 credit lying around, so I might buy them if I don't get them by the end of. Oh yeah, little trick by the way. Don't buy anything at the beginning of the season.
Yes.
Unless you want them immediately, but wait until you've gotten all of your loot boxes and then towards the end of it buy the stuff, because that way you don't risk getting doubles.
Yeah. No, we did, the Scrooge McCree is pretty great, if for no other reason than it says GAMF instead of BAMF on his belt buckle.
What's GAMF?
It's either grumpy ass mother effer,
Oh, is it?
or
Okay.
grinchy ass mother effer. You decide. I'm into
greedy.
it.
It's greedy.
Oh, greedy. Yeah, there's so many. Yeah. There's so many G words we could put in there, or just good because it's at the end of it and he's learned his lesson, and but Tiny Tim is happy.
Motherfucker.
That doesn't sound very.
Yeah, it doesn't sound right.
If you're McCree and you're buying everyone turkeys or holiday meats of some sort, I think you're a good ass mother effer. So
okay.
All right. So also, since we last, sorry, do you have a?
Wait. Actually, which one was the one you were gonna? Which was the skin that you can?
I'm torn. Torbjorn is just fantastic.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But
right.
I think if I could only get one, I think I need the Winston Yeti. It's
okay. Yeah.
It's just too ridiculous. I need it. I love it.
Skin wise for that, but the intro videos too, guys. If you check those out too. I think the intro videos this time around were probably overall a little bit better than the Halloween. The Symmetra one's really good, and now that Symmetra's, we're about to talk about it too. But now she's out there in the wild with the new Symmetra, you're probably going to want to get that intro video too, because I think I don't know, there might be some plays of the games. How much does the shield generate count towards the play of the game? Throw it down. You just got to play the game because you're just MVP. Right there.
Conjure those snowflakes, Symmetras. Conjure those snowflakes.
Yeah, those are definitely cool.
The highlight intros are great. So no, they did a really good job with it, and this is coming from me, who I don't think anything at all will be able to beat Halloween, because Halloween is the coolest holiday. But they're coming close with Wonderland. They've done a really good job. Nice. But let's move on and talk about season 3, because it is here. How's it going for you gents?
All right. Should I do this? Should I?
Yeah.
What did
my rant?
You previewed this in off air as we're going into this, and we don't know what you want to talk about. You hyped it up during the introduction of the show. If you are not having some truly interesting existential crisis
we have
in the world of Overwatch,
he still hasn't told us exactly what he's.
Yeah, if you're just like,
so
guys, my Zenyatta kind of sucks and I need to work on it, I'm going to jump through the internet on you.
And then, oh man, yeah.
No, all right. So I finally went ahead and did my 10 placement matches a few days ago, and it didn't go well. In a sense that I know a lot of people say that, the placement matches suck and they don't go well, and this season especially is messed up because it places you lower. And so the first two matches we lost, but we lost because we lost. They were really close, and I really think, like, in all honesty, I was amongst the one or two best players in my team. So the games were still close, but we lost, and we lost fairly. But it was a little bit frustrating because I was getting, like, 4 medals, sometimes like 3 or 4 gold medals, which I understand one medal is not indicative of your performance necessarily towards winning the game. But when you get 4 or 5 and you're, 3 or 4, and you're always on the point and choosing your targets and everything, it probably means you didn't do too badly. We still lost the first 2. Third, I was like, okay, all right, it's okay. We were close. Third one, we win. I'm like, yes, we can do this. Fourth one, it was Hanamura. We held them at the second point. They still got the first one. And then second round, we're like, we can do it. All, like, super pumped and happy. And one of our team DCs. So we were like 5v6. Nice. And we didn't give up. We were like, F it, we can do it. We got the first point, but didn't get the second one. But we still got the first point, 5v6. So I felt like that draw, because it turned out, it ended up in a draw, obviously, because it was, we both got the first point. Mm-hmm. It felt to me like that draw should have counted as a win because we won with only 5 people in our team. So it was really hard to swallow. And then I went ahead and lost. Wait, that was 4. I think I lost 5 in a row.
Ooh.
And wow, that was harsh because it meant ultimately it was 7 losses, right? Yeah. Or maybe it was 4. Maybe I lost 4. And some of them were lost kind of normally. Like kind of close, and some of them they weren't really close. We didn't play very well, and I didn't play as well as I did in the initial ones. So I can also recognize when I'm not playing so well, right? Mm-hmm. Last 2 we did win. We had good communication on it was all solo queue, by the way. We did win, and we had good communication. People started out in like the 9th match. People started out talking about how, like on mic, talking about how one guy was working at Chipotle, and Chipotle can give you out free food if you don't have money, and they're allowed to. And I was like, what the hell is happening? This is competitive, guys. Like, I was trying not to be negative. One of the easiest wins of the series. So it doesn't mean anything if people are talking about the kind of fast food they like. And the last one, we also won with an awesome 3 pre-made team on the team that was taking point on communication, and really, like, I adapted to what we needed according to what they were saying. So went really well as well. So I ended up 3 wins, 6 losses, 1 tie. With seriously, I think I didn't play badly. I actually played pretty well in that context. But I placed, if you remember, last season I was a mid-gold player. And I could live with that because I think, gold is average. Everyone thinks they're average. And I certainly hope I'm at least average. But, average, I can live with it. This one, my placement was 1,700, so well down into silver. And it was really hard, like on an Overwatch level. And I'm half joking, but like as a personal achievement thing, because I have been playing this game for hundreds of hours, like literally hundreds of hours, and I really want to be good at this game. I want to be able to, for once in my life, in a competitive game, say, I don't suck. And it's not like silver sucks horribly, But if you put the question in life questioning terms, it becomes, I've spent hundreds of hours playing this. I'm trying really hard to play well. I'm putting my efforts, genuine efforts into it. And if the best I can achieve is mid-silver, like the second rank out of 5, I'm not even counting Master and Grandmaster, what is the point, kind of? And what is the point, not just of Overwatch, but what is the point of my life? Really? It's like,
Wow. All right.
When I'm trying to achieve something, if I can. So, all right, I'm joking. Obviously, I'm not questioning my life, but it's kind of the feeling I get related to Overwatch. And I went to Master Overwatch to look at my stats, and I think thinking about it a little bit more seriously, I was thinking, it happens. You get a bad beat. Sometimes in quick play, I get like 10 games in a row where I suck, and when things don't go well, it just happened to be during the placement matches. It sucks, but hopefully I'll be able to get out of it. When I went to Master Overwatch, the tracking website, I looked at the different, pieces of data you have there, and I saw my placement. I'm in the top 94%, meaning I'm in the bottom 6% of the players that go, to check out Master Overwatch. But bottom, like, I'm only 0.6 out of 100 was really harsh to see. And when I look at my competitive game performance, however, I look at eliminations, I'm in the top 42%. Kill death ratio a little bit less, top 64%. Damage, I'm top 35%, et cetera, et cetera. So even though I don't think I'm the best player in the world, I look at the amount of damage and kill death and eliminations I do, and I'm around, let's say, 50%. So again, average. But then my skill rating tells me I'm in the bottom 94% or whatever. It's kind of... So that's where I am now. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to try to get back up into gold. I understand they place you lower to give you an opportunity to grind up and have it feel better than grinding down. But still, what it feels like now is that I was a solid gold player, and now I'm an average silver player. And it doesn't feel good for me as an Overwatch, a semi-serious Overwatch player. So... Here's my this is my sort of psychological journey. What do you guys think?
I think you delivered on all the hype leading up to your heart to heart with us and everyone listening right now. That's for sure. You're certainly having a crisis. I have, my response is boring. So Chris, do you have something that's maybe more substantial than what I think I'm gonna retort with?
I mean, I totally feel you. I mean, I've definitely been there, especially with other games. I know, not so. At some points in Overwatch 2, where it's just like, I know I'm improving. I totally know I'm improving, and I'll talk to other friends I'm playing with, but my skill rating just doesn't reflect it. That's more of a minor version, I guess, of what you're talking about, because you're talking about starting there and everything that's happening right now, I think is just exaggerated just because of the big changes. And literally, it's probably one of those sample size things too. So like if I think by the end of the season, you'll easily be in gold. I bet. I would be surprised if you're not. But I know I've gone through it in Hearthstone. I play Hearthstone a ton, and sometimes when I do want to go try hard, it's like you have games that you just have to grind out, right? You have to grind up to climb ratings or climb ladders or whatnot, and it's just like, when you have a bad day where you've lost, you're just on the bottom of the probability or just the sample size. It's just like, oh, this sucks. Like, did I just literally waste a day? Like, you're just trying to play, and I didn't even make any progress here. This is the worst feeling ever, because I think all of us by nature are people that want to be efficient with our time, especially us, right? We don't have a ton of time. So like whenever we do anything, we want to be productive with it. So when it doesn't happen, it's like, oh, it just really kills, or just hurts the soul. Like to know that you might have just been wasting time. But in reality, you're just putting the games in. I mean, in the end, a lot of these ladder systems are grinds. So, you got to go through those bad games, I guess you can say, and I don't know. That's just part of it, you know. You're definitely better than 1700. There's no way. I've played with you before, so it's not. I don't think there's a question of whether you're really a sober player.
Thank you. That's I think that's what I wanted to hear. It's like it's not you, it's the system. Just don't. Yeah, you're better than what it's telling you are. So
And now I'm going to give you tough love, which is how
let me brace for it.
And I'm going to preface all of this with Overwatch is the Blizzard game that I am the least interested in being competitive in. So I'm going to preface that with that. So I'm coming to this with where my head is at in other games that I do feel I'm a competitive player in, like Heroes of the Storm. How helpful is that line of thinking? How helpful is it to go, oh well, it's not me, it's a system. I think obviously if it's affecting you in this emotional way, it I think it actually is pretty helpful, because just don't let it get to you like that. But if that is true, if it is the system, because this is something that comes up in other games all the time, what can you do about it? The only thing you can do about it is improve, get better, get good, and there's just no other excuses. And it's somewhat difficult to have this conversation, especially with Overwatch. But in any game, it's hard to have this conversation if we can't sit here and kind of like look at your games, right? If we wanted to sit here and really have a constructive discussion, and at the end of it actually learn something, I think we need to actually be sitting here looking at the games, seeing, so Chris and I could be here and be like, oh yeah, no, there was nothing you could have done, because chances are there was something you could have done. But it's hard to point to what it was. And in Overwatch, we don't even have replays, so it's even harder to do that.
I think there are definitely things I know I'm not doing well. Honestly, I'm not the best aimer, and I know I don't finish off enemies I'm targeting often enough. I often let them get away, and that's not good. And that's why my eliminations number is not as high as it should be, and my kill death ratio also is probably not as high. But so there's that. But I think the way it's helpful to think it's the system and not my performance. That's often what girls used to tell me, by the way.
Oh God.
It is in the way that I think I had a bad streak. I honestly think so. And so it was a rough 10 games. And so if it is indeed the system, I should be able to improve by applying myself. If it's just that I suck, then I have to look at how I can improve. And I'm doing that anyway, I suppose. So I'm not looking at it like, oh, it's the system and there's nothing I can do, so I'll just, go YOLO and shoot at everything by moving my mouse as fast as I can. I'm still trying to play correctly and apply myself. So in that sense, it's helpful.
Yeah, are you playing the same characters every time or no? I mean, are you like literally changing up, almost like quick play style, where you're just playing any character, or maybe filling with some characters that you're just not that good with either? Because, a game is a game, right? Like they don't care if like a win and a loss. They only care about wins and losses. So if you're playing your terrible character, then you're probably more likely going to get a loss because you're just not that good at it. Versus playing your best character every single time. I'm trying
to stick to I adapt when we need something, but I stick to like the one or maybe two of my best characters that I have in every role, and with the caveat of if they have like, I don't know, Winston that's tearing us up, I'm going to go to Reaper rather than Soldier. Right.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So and generally, you're playing your best characters. Okay.
Yeah, and to move away from the tough answers and kind of back into it's okay, man. I mean, there's sometimes you can't help that, right? Because you can't have duplicate heroes. What if someone picks the hero that you should honestly be playing in the situation? Overwatch is a little different like that. It's sometimes you just need to play something you're not supremely good at because all of the options that you would normally go with are already taken.
Right.
Yeah.
So how good are you in heroes, Garrett? Like, what's your competitive placement usually?
High gold. I've been trying to break some platinum for a while now. I've hit platinum in Team League, but not in Hero League.
Okay, all right. So it's
so-
not like everyone else who's playing one game competitively seriously is, diamond, and everyone who's taking it seriously should be that high. It's okay to be gold, I suppose.
It depends on who you ask. If you go and you talk to...
No, I'm okay with you saying, yes, I'm golden, it's fine.
But there's tons of people, I can hear the comments now that are, we get them on this show. It's like, oh, these guys just aren't pro enough. And it's like, well, it's not really what we're going for on the show, right? We're trying to have an everyman conversation about the game. If you want the pro talk, Chanman has that show for you. Go listen to it.
That's true. Yeah. If you want esport talk and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I am the complete noob on that show. So when it comes to those players.
Yeah.
I mean, it like you said, it's just, just the problem with playing and losing, and all of us fall into it, is that after you lose, just a couple of them, you just start to tilt. You know what I mean? So you do start to play worse. That happens. And if you can just keep yourself just one game at a time, and it's just like, oh, it's okay, it's okay, because it's about just playing a bunch of games and just how I do after a bunch of games. At the end of the season, if you end at 1700, then that's a different story.
And I'm gonna.
But at the beginning, I don't think it's that big a deal.
I'd like to invoke a little bit of Kyle from our hero show, because I think there's another discussion to have here about solo queuing in a team-based game, which is something we talk about all the time in Heroes, and something that I think does need to be talked about in Overwatch, and that's it could absolutely be the case that you just got on a bad streak, but those are going to happen. It's going to happen to all of us, and I think that that's your opportunity to learn. That's your opportunity to really have a learning experience. You're not going to learn a lot from a game where you steamrolled and you won. You're going to learn from your losses. You're going to learn from your hard wins. And that's kind of where I'm getting at. It's like, if you can record your games and go back and kind of look at it, and it's like, and I'm not getting on your case, because I did the same thing when I see someone doing something that I'm just like, no, that is just the wrong call. Why are you doing that? The natural reaction is to not back that person up, and then to go off, become rogue, do your own thing, go do what you see as the right decision. True. But because the rest of the team is making the wrong decision, they're not backing you up. One of the big things you need to learn to do is to adapt even to the wrong decision, because in a lot of cases in a team-based game like this, everyone going in on the wrong decision is better than a three-way split for the right decision.
No, I agree, and I do that. I think that these kinds of things I'm aware of, and maybe not. I don't do it as much as I should, but I do these kinds of this kind of basic knowledge. I do try to apply. So,
who are your mains, by the way?
Oh,
who are your
well, I don't want to make the whole show about let's help Patrick.
I find this a really interesting conversation. I mean, we're sitting here talking about the game.
I mean, the reason I ask who your mains are is because I think Garrett makes a good point, because I can tell you my best character is Reinhardt, right? Mm-hmm. And I can tell you it's really hard to climb with, and I've brought this up many times on the show. It's hard to climb as a support player. It's hard to climb as a tank player, because in the end, no matter what, you have to kill people as a team. You have to kill teams as a team to actually win games. And when you're not a DPS character, you do rely heavily on those people. So whenever I do have folks that can't deal very much damage, it's harder. But if I do have folks and I recognize, okay, they're not that good, but they're in those roles, then I have to be super aggressive as Reinhardt. You know what I mean? I have to adapt my play to actually try to make up for any shortcomings there. And before, I would just sit there and just play my role, and I just sit there just blocking for them, and just knowing that they're not doing damage, and I would just be like, gosh, why can't you guys do damage? But that doesn't achieve anything, right? So I actually have to play completely different, to try to make up for it, get a win out of it.
Yeah.
So I usually play, as I said, soldier a little bit now to counter Pharahs, because there are a lot of Pharahs. I also play Pharahs, and I'm managing to chase and kill a little bit more with Pharahs than others. Then I play Junkrat quite a bit. I'm sort of a good spammer. Like I can aim with the silly grenades, kind of okay. And I often play Winston actually because a lot of people at my level at least get kind of confused by squishies moving around like idiots and don't obviously Winston, if you have a Tracer or a Sombra or a Zenyatta, you just wreck them, and that often happens. So I jump in, and I'm honestly not bad with Winston. I manage to time my jumps and my shield so that I almost never die. Not almost never die, but I die a lot less.
Very difficult to
than
murder.
The average tank, I think. So I do disrupt the back line when it's needed with that. So those would be my four. And then I play Lucio every here now and then, but that's a lot easier to play. So that's roughly my my main stable.
I think
Okay.
I think you have a solid lineup.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty well dispersed. It's good to have a flexible lineup because you can just fill whenever you need to. But there are times, it's solo queuing is really tough, and I think if you're a really good, DPS player, you got great tracking or just above average tracking and hit scan or whatnot, you're going to climb just out of the silver ranks pretty quickly.
So,
but it's just
actually,
a little bit
I
harder.
don't. Actually, I don't. But what I do have now is. I have games where I'm a lot better. It depends if I'm tired or whatever. But what I do have, I make up for the bad tracking and hit scanning by placement and survivability. Like with Soldier, I will get out of dodge much more than I did before, and I'm really hard to kill. And also like flanking is again at my level. I thought that at my level people were used to it, but for some reason I must have sunk actually because it surprises them a lot more than it used to. So yeah, I make up.
That's
for
good.
it. But,
No, staying alive that's probably the biggest thing, the biggest point of advice I give my son all the time because he's a DPS player, right? And the thing is like he gets in that mode where he's just willing to trade 1 for 1 or even 1 for 2, and I tell him like, no, like the most important thing is just dealing damage, because the rest of the team can help you finish guys, but if you die, then the objective is to kill those teams. If you die, then a large percent of our damage just is gone for a good 20-30 seconds in a game. Mm-hmm. So what's most important is you staying alive and you dying last, actually. So he's been getting better about that. But, he used to like Genji, so he'd be, just doing his own Superman, just like trying to kill. Oh, Dad, I just killed like 3 guys in the back of the line, and he has nothing to do with us, as a team. But, now that he's getting a little bit better, he's playing some more Soldier now too. And I think he understands it more with Soldier because Soldier can just hang out in the back and just continually deal damage. It doesn't feel good because you're not finishing guys, but it's achieving a ton for your team because you're just whittling away all of their characters. And when you get somebody low in a battle, they'll disengage. And if they disengage, then all of a sudden the numbers change. So there's like all these little facets of engagements and skirmishes and whatnot that people, like don't think about at all. So you try to get that quick thrill and, trying to overcome that is tough sometimes.
I think it might also have to do with all of this that you're talking about, which I see now. For 6 months, I've been realizing these things that maybe I didn't realize before. So when I mess up now and I don't finish someone, or I let them get away, or I die and I shouldn't have. Before maybe I felt, I traded 1 for 1 or 1 for 2. It's good. Now I get frustrated with myself because I realize I messed up. So maybe there's some of that as well when I don't play well. Or anyway. Have you guys played
for the hit scan? The hit scan characters you play. Have you tried those websites with the Remember, like one of the early shows where I.
Oh the training websites.
Yeah, like the ones where there's like little dots. They're tools. They're literally these tools that help you with your aim and tracking and stuff. They're actually great. They're really
maybe I'll
good.
do that. I haven't.
We covered them a while ago.
I can't say I'm great at them, but I'm just saying those type of tools. Like I remember
They
just
actually
whenever,
help.
yeah, they help a lot when you're playing shooters, and I mean any game really. I remember even StarCraft. I used to do those like multitask trainers and what, and it was just like amazing for my game, like improving the game. So I would try that too. Those are
right.
definitely worthwhile.
Yeah, Junkenstein's
Okay.
Revenge
Noted.
became a McCree trainer for me out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Didn't
Exactly.
expect that to be one of the offshoots of that co-op experience, but that's totally what it became for me.
Yeah, I'll train harder. Thank you, Sensei. I've
Yeah,
learned a
yeah.
valuable lesson. Senseis, I should say. I'll try. If nothing else, I am a little bit. It helped to talk through it, and I'm not as frustrated as I was in the beginning. And I feel like I'm able to go back in and try my best, which is really anything anyone can ask for.
I think these are really good discussions to have because, dude, everyone feels like this.
Oh,
I
We
know.
all experience this in any game with a ladder. And that's where ladder anxiety comes from. So.
yeah, absolutely.
So did you guys place? I'm not sure.
God, no. I've been moving. No, not even close.
Garrett.
Like I said,
I placed. So I had a pretty. Well, so this season, just before I tell you, I mean, I placed in gold. So I placed like 2,400 or 2,390 or something like that. And compared to last season, which I placed in like 2,800 to begin with, right? It's pretty big difference. But I went 4 and
Seems
6.
everyone's
Though.
been placed significantly lower than they were, right?
I mean, I think I felt like it was deserving because we went 4 and 6. But for me, this season is just more about laddering with my son. So. I'm not like, going crazy about trying to ladder up and like, why am I not getting to diamond? That type of thing or anything. With this, it's just more, I want to bond with him. I want him to be better too, because he didn't get a chance to play too much competitive last season because we had this like big difference in our rating. So it was kind of weird whenever we would play together, and he kind of didn't want to play to lower my rating, but I didn't really care that much. So this season, I just wanted to duo with him like most of the season, just so we could climb together.
For Christmas,
we still
he should just
we
get
still have
yours.
like a 200 ranking difference right now, but
Okay.
hopefully he'll climb. Because he's better than he is at right now too, but it's more of a teamwork thing that he doesn't quite understand yet. But his individual skill is definitely better than me with like half of the characters for sure. And so it's just a matter of him understanding how the games actually work. But yeah, so for me, it's a different, I guess, motivation this season, but definitely lower than I was last season. But it's okay. I might, that's the thing for me. It's like I don't feel too pressured this time around because there's an alternative goal for this one.
Yeah. I've just been extremely busy. It's like when you were traveling, Patrick. This is my off month. But
New house.
At this
That's
point,
about it.
I'm so close to like my it's slow. It's Christmas week. I'm thinking, who can I rope in to do all my placements with me, or almost all my placements, because I've done a few.
Dude grooves. I still think the best way to play Overwatch, if you are trying to climb the ladder, is just do a 6-man because, or try to get a consistent group of maybe like 8 people or whatever that you can get consistent 6s, because climbing as a team, like you can measure your performance a lot better if you're climbing as a team, playing the same roles and that sort of thing. Otherwise, it is very inefficient to figure out, to try to figure out how you're doing, because there'll be throwaway games, right? Like they'll just be like, oh, this guy just trolling us, or this guy doesn't even care. So it's like a completely, that game, that loss doesn't teach you anything because that guy just wasn't good. That guy was just throwing a game, So I still think the best way to experience Overwatch is as a group.
Yeah, it's just not really possible for me for a number of reasons, but mostly time and the times when I play. So, and I understand the idea of that people think if you're solo queuing, then you're not getting all the chances you could. But if you're solo queuing, most people will be solo queuing as well. And if you're grouping, then the other teams are going to be on point a lot more than when people are solo queuing. So I feel that if you organize in your solo queue, if you get people together and a little bit better than the others, then you do have an advantage as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my point is like when you lose as a group, at least you guys can say, you know what, guys, I totally screwed up. Like as a tank, like I played bad this game. This was my fault. You know, more, and you can kind of track like how we're playing. Maybe this comp wasn't working. You know what I mean? Like as a collective group, you can figure out strategy. Where, you know, with solo queue, it's just more of a dynamic thing that's happening.
There's a
constantly.
lot more variables, right, that you don't have control of. You can in a team environment. Yes, you're absolutely are going to go up against another team, and is how it should be. I mean, no, you don't want to just raffle stomp. You want a good game,
of course.
But you can bring a lot more of that meta knowledge of that esports knowledge into a team environment. A lot of that stuff is just not that useful in solo queue because not everyone's on comms, and even if they are, not everyone's going to agree and listen. So I mean, I'm with you too. I also personally just think playing with the team is just more fun. Even when I lose, it's like, all right, damn, now we messed up, guys. All right, shake it off, dust it off. Oh yeah. No, I know I'm a bad tracer. It's cool. I won't play her next game. Like, so like I don't that to me, I just prefer it. It's also harder, right? It's difficult to get another 5 people consistently together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, dude, good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely.
It sounds like this was beneficial for you. This was therapeutic for you. So
get out of it.
So I hope we both helped you, and
you did.
Let's do it, man.
I will. You know, until my next horrible losing streak that tilts me so much, I'll like throw my. No, I don't actually. I was kind of good. I didn't get tilted in a physical rage kind of way. It was just psychological damage that it inflicted on me this time. So I think that's progress. Right?
Oh, that happened to me so many times when I was doing a StarCraft podcast. I cannot even explain it to you. There were so many times where I was just like
the physical rage.
No, like existential crisis. Like, why am I even playing this game? Why am I doing the show?
God.
Why
am I talking about soul draining? That game, man.
Yeah. Why am I even bothering? Am I actually bringing anything to the community? Why?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And I try not to let it get to me as much anymore. Happens in Heroes from time to time, but that's because I do a show with Kyle, who is currently Masters. So, yeah. Anyways, moving on. Jeff Kaplan says he and the team would like to give out more rewards for competitive, but not too many. And this actually kind of ties into, I think, partially with your everything you just brought to the table, Patrick, because he said this might seem like a weird comment, but I'll put it out there. We don't want to over-reward players for playing comp, and specifically the little nugget here is we don't want to put so many amazing rewards in the system that it attracts players to competitive that wouldn't normally be playing there.
Nice.
And
yeah, that's
good. It's good.
That's a little bit counterintuitive, I think. Initially you'd be like, well, why wouldn't you want to have great rewards for the super competitive mode? But yeah, he put it perfectly. He said it perfectly. You don't want to get people who are not going to be trying their best. And that would be definitely worse. Like if you had people, you already sometimes get people that don't care. Although apparently the people who work at Chipotle are amazing players and get me wins that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. But yeah, that's an excellent reason that I would not have thought of.
Yeah, you're starting a robot horribly.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
You can't help it. It's not like you hit your robot button.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry. May.
Stop it,
We've
May.
got our own May now.
Stop it, May. No, this is a deliberate. I get this. Like you said, this is a deliberate way to try and curtail one of the concerns that I think you brought up, Patrick, is that, well, what if some of the people I'm playing with they're not taking it as seriously as I am, and how do you fight that? It's you really can't, but you can definitely take measures to try and not incentivize players who aren't interested in competitive playing competitive, and I think this is exactly how you do that. So I think this is smart.
Yeah, I think it's diversifying, the game. They do have an arcade that they're trying to push to. They're trying to push with loot boxes, and they have their own incentives there too. And I think just not putting too much weight on the competitive rewards and things like that is really smart. It already has its own built-in, very huge reward system, which is trying to get as high as you can on the ladder. So I don't think it needs too much more. I mean, it's just keeping the those top level pro guys continuing to play it. I mean, you can just the golden gun's good. Maybe I don't know, some more just kind of golden things that really just stand out. I think people would even take sprays that are unique, like the animated sprays. I mean, that's enough too, So definitely good strategy on their part.
I agree. I think it's in a good place. It's clearly working because at the moment, I think competitive is the mode I'm least interested in playing, and I think that's a success, right?
And we really don't want people like Garrett coming.
You don't. You do not want me.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Imagine the show if it was only competitive play. That was on Overwatch. We don't want that. We definitely don't want that.
No, absolutely not. But what we do want to do is thank our patrons supporting us over at patreon.com/Overwatchers. If you like Overwatchers, if you would like more episodes, because that's our first and second goal, go to patreon.com/Overwatchers and support us however much you would like. 50 cents, $1, 10 cents, whatever. It adds up. It really does. Whether it's, you're buying one less Coke this week. We appreciate all of the support that we get. Thank you to our patron producers, LVE and .game. Thank you to Kevin G, Jeremy B, MYKY, Rob H, and John P this week specifically. But we've had the Patreon going for a while now, and we just really appreciate the support, everyone.
Yeah, we were talking about it after the show last time, and the show has a really has decent audience, and it's not like the Patreon isn't good. I mean, it's awesome that so many people are choosing to support us, but for some reason it seems that some other shows get a little bit more financial support, and I think we'd be doing it anyway. We love doing the show, but it would be cool also if we got a little bit more of the Patreon going. So if if you're already supporting us somewhere else, then awesome. This is what we love to see. But if you're not, and if you really enjoy the show, maybe please consider taking a look at it and going to patreon.com/Overwatchers and supporting us financially as well. That would be absolutely awesome. So thank you in advance.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think just all the folks out there that are just supporting the show, it's fantastic. This is what we do. This is what we do for a living. So Overwatchers, we were talking about it. I think Overwatchers, from the standpoint of the amount of downloads and viewers and listeners we get every week, is like amazing. Actually, I think as the game's grown, the show's grown a lot too, and we're at the point where it's like. We're hoping for the support to kind of match, I guess what we'd like to do, which was, I think we'd like to be able to do this every single week. It's just, we have to get to the point where I think we can all justify doing it every week. And, that takes support to do that. And that's just being completely honest with everybody. So if you do enjoy the show, you love the show, just think about going to the Patreon page and making a pledge. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So, and thank you again to everyone already supporting us.
And also, you would be helping me.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yes. You, of course, and you would be helping me. Work through my my psychological issues. So that counts,
Yeah.
guys.
Think about that.
We'll start Overwatch therapy as a new segment.
Exactly.
But it's just therapy for Patrick though, not Chris, not me, just Patrick.
For me.
Just
Patrick's mental health is important. It is.
Chris and I will sit down. We will go shopping for a nice therapy couch, and we'll have it shipped to Patrick's place, so he can lay down on it when we.
I think that can become a recurring segment. It's like
God.
how's Patrick doing in the head department today? The journey of mental fortitude.
We could have a Patrick's mental meter at the top of the screen here. How's it doing as the show's going on? It's like moving and stuff.
Yeah, acceptable, dangerous, ecstatic. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Let's talk about what's going around the Overwatch community. I'd like to start with 9 things you didn't know about Overwatch director Jeff Kaplan on Glixel.com, which I didn't know was a website, and I also didn't know the majority of this story. is highly entertaining. My God, the journey poor Mr. Kaplan has had.
Yeah, it's a really, if you don't know, I mean, obviously Kaplan is the game director for Overwatch, but they had an interview with him, and it's the kind of interview that people who really enjoy the games like, because it's not just, so, what is this aspect of the game, or the things we know already. Apparently, Kaplan started out his career, I think they're clickbaiting it a little bit, saying he was a poet, a failed poet. It's not quite that, but he was a writer.
Right.
He started out like not just trying to write on the side. It was his job, and he wanted to make it, and he tried really hard for years to get published and to get into the movie industry, and it didn't work out. And it was apparently well, I can understand, it's a little bit harder than failing to achieve your goals in Overwatch competitive. It's like actually his actual life was centered around trying to become a writer, and he didn't manage. And so what he ended up doing was, at some point, it was so much rejection that environment is super hard, of course, as we know. He was like, you know what? F all of this. I'm going to play freaking EverQuest. And that was what he did. Like, with his entire free time, he retreated from society, kind of.
It's all about life decisions.
Yes.
It's all about life
and you never know where things are going to take you.
Exactly.
He met Rob Pardo, who was working at Blizzard at the time, and you can go read the article. I'm not going to do all of it, but it's a really interesting read and look into his life. And no, it doesn't mean you should give up everything and start playing video games or an MMORPG, but it's just interesting to read from his experience.
Yeah,
he met his wife through it too, right?
Through WoW, yeah. He met his
exactly.
wife playing WoW. Yeah.
and originally assumed she was a dude.
Yeah.
Which is
as you do. Whenever you're playing anything, if there's a female character in WoW, especially, you assume it's a dude. You're more likely to be right than wrong.
My
That's
first
right.
my
That's
first experience with that was the opposite. I assumed someone was a girl, and then the first time getting into like that guild's voice chat was like, oh my God, that's a guy.
And all of a sudden, you started regretting all the flirty private messages you had sent.
No, well, the fun part of the story was this was an assumption both me and my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, made. We both assumed, oh yeah, totally a girl. And we both got into the voice chat that night and was like, my mind. My mind. So
the other sweet thing that he mentioned in the interview was that now people are more used to the idea of people having met through video games and WoW in general, and there are a lot of people who did that. But at the time, he was like super ashamed of it, or like he wasn't comfortable saying it. But now it's okay because the gaming culture is more prevalent. So that was kind of a sweet moment as well.
yeah.
The other topic I wanted to talk about was this. It's on Reddit, on the Overwatch Reddit. There were a number of people who posted basically details of how they went, or they went from gold to diamond or things like that, and the tips that they learned along the way. And there was kind of a backlash. A couple of jerks, honestly, went and wrote down angry posts about how we don't care about the stupid basic tips that people give because we already know, and it's not anything actually useful or enlightening or new. And it really pissed me off because the tips were good. Now the guy has actually deleted the one I chose. He has deleted the tips. We covered a lot of that in the in Patrick's therapy session already, so we don't need to go over them again. But not everyone. First of all, the game is still recruiting a lot of people that would benefit from learning those tips. You would benefit from them as well, because I'm talking to the jerks here, because even though you know them, the people you play with might not, and they might improve by learning them. And just in general, it's not a bad thing to go over the basics again, and you might remember or even learn a new one. So it was just a little bit frustrating that that people started deleting the things themselves because they felt they had I don't know, gone against what the community was needing. So anyway,
that kind of stuff just drives me bananas. Not everyone,
me too.
Not everyone learns the same way. Not everyone applies their knowledge in the same way. And this is revealing a bit about my opinion of standardized testing. But it's just absurd. And this is one of my Reddit is a great thing, and Reddit is also simultaneously one of the worst things. It depends on what day you go and you visit the Reddit. It's a big. It depends, right? And this is where it gets.
I think overall, it's really positive, especially the Overwatch one. It's good.
It's just stuff like this comes up, and it seems because of like the way an upvote function functions that like a certain opinion is the correct one, right? Like things get kind of drowned out in the noise, and this is when I get kind of irritated with things like Reddit, because I just vehemently disagree with that sentiment. It's like, no, this is of use to someone. If it is not of use of you, why are you reading it, and why are you taking the time to bitch in the comments?
It's not even like it was the whole subreddit had become just that. There had been like 3 or 4 in a couple of days, and people got
anyway. I don't know. Well,
I mean, at the same time, like, so I agree 100% with what both of you guys said there. But it's always the vocal minority that are the ones that are comments on these threads. It's like, where are the people that actually like these things? Like, why don't they come on and like I mean, are there a ton of there were comments on this specific thread, at least. There were a number of commenters that were saying, yes, it was useful. Thank you for doing it. I mean, they don't get the upvotes. That's the problem, right? Like
Well, look at the first one. Your tips are very, very useful. Well, okay, the problem isn't followed tips.
There's
always having a full team of radio. Yeah, okay, they're bitching.
Yeah. So I think part of it is also the folks that do enjoy this content. If you enjoy this content, guys, go and post something that's not just, oh, thanks for posting it. Like, that's great and all. Like if I were to post these tips, it'd be nice to see those comments, but it's even better when you put a nice thorough comment in there, and it catches other people's eye too, and it might say something that other people can relate to, and maybe the folks that want to make a smart ass comment, they might not, based on what you said there. So there's a lot more people that do like these things than that don't like these things. So those folks, please, like, go and voice your positivity too, like to these type of things, because the fact that he deleted it, that really sucks. That really sucks that basically these people got to him, and they shouldn't have, because there are probably 1,000 people that did enjoy these tips.
Yeah, I wanted to read this, and I can't. I didn't see this 4 days ago when it was posted, and it's gone now, and I can't see it. So
so it sucks. I mean, that's terrible that happened, and we can do something about it. That's all I'm trying to say, is that, like, if you enjoy these things, go and do something about it.
Yeah, stating your positivity, I think, is an important thing, really, in any aspect, because it certainly makes me feel better on days when I'm like, all right, time to go into the iTunes reviews and find some 5-star things. And I've come across that 1-star review that's telling me I am the worst, most useless human being on the earth. I'm like, boy, I'm really glad.
Garrett, there's like one. Okay, so this is human nature right here, like at its best. There's one comment that says that, like, out of all those freaking reviews that we have for this show, but that's the one that you remember.
I'm not actually okay. In my defense, I'm not actually referencing a specific review. There's definitely been more than one. But you are right.
I'm sitting like generally too. Like I'm the same way. Like there would be like one comment that's just like, oh man, this kind of sucked, or man, you're boring as hell, or something like that. And you just like remember that. Like totally, that's like the one that sticks out. And then all the other positive ones don't really stand out. And that's just like a human flaw that we all have, especially as content makers too. And it's a bad thing for sure, because there are so many more positive comments than negative ones that we get.
True.
Yeah.
100%, 100%. So that's the point I was getting at. Was I didn't need my own personal therapy session. This is an issue I am aware of and already working on.
It was more general. I wasn't like.
And I know. Is that's always a good thing, because not as many people who enjoy something actually are vocal about it as you might think. So, and even if they are, even if in like the case of our show, the majority of the reviews are positive, it's like those 3 bad ones that just stick in your brain. And it's the same thing with Patrick's losses. He's probably not remembering his wins as fondly as those just debilitating losses. They stick in your brain. But what you're probably not remembering is 3 months ago when you went on that six game winning streak and you ruined someone else's day.
You know, I've actually started actively paying attention to it as part of the program. Seriously, there should be a 12-step program for this. As part of the program, I started actively noticing the winning streaks, and I had, a week ago. That's actually the moment I decided to actually go for the for the placement matches, but. Yeah, a week ago I had a bad losing streak in quick play, and then I had an awesome winning streak in competitive. I was like, I did everything right. I contributed to the winning, to the team winning so much, and I got 5 wins in a row, which were really deserved. So it's funny that you're saying this, because I actively decided to pay attention to it, and I felt great about it, and it helped mitigate. It led me to that theory that this was just a bad streak of 10 games that happened to be during the placement, and I remembered the good streak that happened a few days before. So you're absolutely right. We should remember the good ones as well.
Yeah. So, and continuing on with some of the community cool stuff, by the way, this is an audio show for the most part. So take it. I'm trying to do the best I can. Go to artofdat.com right now, artofdat.com, and click on Rockabilly Overwatch and do yourself a favor, because these are some of my favorite pieces of fan art I have seen in a very long time. I need that hipster Widowmaker skin in my life right now. I need it. So
it's the 50s. Oh, you haven't seen them? There were a few already. A few months ago, someone did them, but they added more of them. It's like 50s rockabilly style illustrations for the characters, and they look really good. It's for some reason they fit perfectly. The dude managed to find to express the personality of each character through 60s style, clothing and hairstyle, and the rockabilly, the hairdo for Zenyatta is perfect. And so just go look at them.
It's straight up Johnny Bravo for Zenyatta. Let's be honest.
Totally.
I love it.
Totally. Wow, these are really good.
I want a 50s Chevy Bastion in the worst way.
Chevy Bastion.
Nice.
That'd be awesome. It has a hood ornament on it. He's pretty sweet.
So good. So freaking good. Definitely check this out if you haven't seen it. Chris, what's going on in the world of Overwatch Esports?
So there are a couple events going on this weekend. Actually, this winter season's been all about Korea and NA, just these two regions. Not much going on in the EU actually the last a month or two, and I don't know of anything going on this month either for EU. But we have IEM Gyeonggi. I'm sorry if I'm totally butchering it. I've just been calling it IEM Korea for now. That's going to be going on basically in the early mornings, starting on Friday to Sunday, and then MLG is going to be following that every single day from Friday to Sunday. So this whole weekend, there's a ton to watch. So you literally could just sit there and watch all Overwatch esports for 10 hours each of those days if you want to. But I am Korea. I'll just say Korea for now. There's 6 teams, and the biggest, I think the biggest draw for that tournament is the fact that Misfits and Rogue are participating in that. as well as 4 other Korean teams, but those 2 teams specifically. And that's because there was a huge 3-team trade that occurred probably a week and a half ago between Misfits, Rogue, and Luminosity. And it's a big deal because obviously Misfits and Rogue have been 2 of the best teams in Overwatch already. You know, like why change, right? If you're already the best team. So there was a shakeup there, and a little bit to do with personalities, a little bit to do with just the way that they were presenting it was just to have more efficiencies in terms of communication and just logistics and things like that. And so we had some big players moving from one team to the other. So for Rogue, Tavik and Reinforce, Tavik actually I feel like has been team captain in the face of Rogue for the onset of the team. He's actually been traded to Misfits, and then Soon and Skipjack have been moved over to Rogue, and then Crew and Hedon are part of Luminosity Gaming now. And if you look at the general makeup of the team, that means that Misfits is an all Swedish team now. And then Rogue is an all-French team, except for 1 player, which is Skipjacks. And then LG is just like a hodgepodge of a bunch of different nationalities. But, that's one of the things that they were pointing out is like having an all-Swedish team with, I think they were saying that a lot of the Swedish guys enjoyed the Sweden team, Team Sweden during the World Cup. So, they were, I guess, more prone to give this a try. I think it did stem more from like personality things, but having an all Swedish team was something that they really wanted to try to build there. So that's kind of one of the reasons I think Tavik and Reinforce went is because of that reason. So big changes in 2 of the biggest teams. It's hard to say whether they're better or worse, but Misfits looks really, really interesting because they have a bunch of players that can play all kinds of characters. And I think Overwatch at its best eventually, in 2 years, 3 years, will basically be that. It will be 6 players that can play probably anything, any role, so they can switch up at any time, adapt to any meta. So it's going to be pretty exciting to see how both teams do, but I'm particularly curious about Misfits. Luminosity, they've been playing in the Winter Premiere, which is another tournament that's going on this week, qualifiers, and they've shown they've been doing pretty well. I mean, they were struggling before this trade, and they showed some really good games this week, so they've definitely improved. So potentially all 3 teams could improve from this, which would be really, really great because, when you get a trade, it's always good to have all the teams improving versus just, I don't know, 1 or 2 teams being the winner and then there's a big loser in it. I don't know why you would make a trade if you're a big loser, right? So, but that was probably the biggest news going on. There's no giant, I would say, Apex event going on right now, but I think MLG will be pretty cool for NA. And also the Winter Premiere event that I just mentioned with the qualifier, that's another NA event that's being held by a new organization, or at least a new organization to Overwatch, NGE. They have their own studio and their own casters and whatnot. So that's been pretty cool to see. Just a completely new batch of talent too, working an event. So yeah, a pretty big event there. And then there was an event that was supposed to happen last week, and just really quickly, because it happens to be from a kind of big event organizer, and the MGA was supposed to be an event for some of the teams that didn't get invited to IEM Korea or MLG Vegas, and that event surprisingly got canceled last minute too.
Yeah, like the 11th hour.
Yeah, it was
Do
really.
we know what happened?
I mean, the Red Bull wrote a story about it, but it had a lot to do with just the equipment that they had. It just wasn't working properly, or wasn't functioning properly.
Oh, do you think maybe the teams showed up and they were like, guys, this doesn't work, and or I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if it was down exactly that.
Yeah,
that type of.
They cite technical problems. In this Red Bull piece, it doesn't get extremely specific.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it wasn't super specific there, but definitely what we've been hearing is just there were some issues with laptops. There's probably some issues with production too, because I would be really surprised if they couldn't replace the machines last minute, given that it's Gfinity. I mean, this is like a big arena. But this is like a company that's been around esports for a couple of years now, and are backed well, and so they have money, so that's not an issue there. But still, like the players flew out there and it got canceled last minute. It's just really, really surprising. But don't want to dwell too much on it. It's just, I know a lot of people were looking forward to watching that event and wondered what happened to it. And that's kind of what happened. It just got canceled last minute. Hopefully that doesn't happen very, very much or at all, like moving on. But yeah, it was surprising just to Gfinity and MSI, obviously a big sponsor too. So unfortunate, but hopefully they learned some lessons there. Other than that, that's about it for esports right now. December, kind of busy with smaller events, but nothing, I'd say, enormous. Just a big, crazy weekend of Overwatch esports, which would be good.
The one thing I'm taking out of all of this is basically Rogue is now essentially a French team, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Rogue is...
I can root for them specifically.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
They're really good, too. I mean... They added Soon and Skipjacks, and Soon is one of the best tracers in Overwatch right now. I mean, he was carrying some of those games, like most recently for his team, like Misfits, and Misfits won, just made a tournament recently too. So they're definitely great additions to Rogue, and Rogue's support, and they've always been great to begin with. So they're losing to Veek, which is a big deal, and obviously reinforced their tank, but gaining two excellent players too.
Yeah,
cool.
And that kind of stuff, like stars tracer players and stuff. I mean, that going back to your previous statement where you think that in the long run, in the future, teams that flex the best will be the best and are going to be the kind of the star players. I think there'll still be, there'll still be a place for your star specific hero players. I think there'll be an interesting discussion to be had about both types. Strong flex players and strong specific role players.
Yeah, I absolutely. I mean, it's fun talking about, right? The best tracer in the world or the best Genji in the world. They're definitely great things for us to talk about, especially. But it's just consistency. I guess what I was trying to get at, I think the teams with the more flex players on their team will probably be the most consistent in their results. Where right now we have teams that just completely flourish in a certain metagame, and then when it changes, they just drop off of the radar, and we're like, where'd they go? Like, where they been the last couple months? It's like, well, the patch came out, guys. Like, that's pretty much what happened to them. And we even see it in the Korean teams now. Lunatic High with with Miro and Winston were like the talk of BlizzCon, right? And just all the events around that time. But since the patch came out, that now they've disappeared a little bit. And they were like one of the Korean teams that people were arguing were better than some of the Western teams, right? Now, it's completely different, and you've seen a change. So that's really just the point I was trying to get at with the flex is you'll have more consistent results.
We didn't mention that Symmetra is out exactly as she was on PTR.
Yeah, totally.
Talking about changes.
Thanks,
That's
Christmas. Thanks.
Wait.
It's because I'm blaming the winter event that just went live, and I was kind of being excited about that.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. It was like I had to. Somebody mentioned that it was in the patch notes, and I was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "I didn't realize they were going to release that." But that's huge, man. I can't wait to see how the meta changes. I haven't seen her quite that effective yet in any of the latter games I've played, but I've only played maybe like 2 or 3.
And she just came out yesterday, so
yeah.
But she's as she was when we were talking about it last week, where we were saying she's kind of OP, and I guess we're all surprised she came out as without any changes, but we'll see. I guess she wasn't winning enough matches to be a threat.
We talked about this a little bit on the overview. It's that I don't know if there's enough data right now. I mean, I'd be really curious to see what kind of data they get from the PTR, because I was talking with just IDQD and some of the other guys that are just obviously higher level players than, and they're not motivated to play the PTR. Like they get on there and it's just bad games. So it's like, why do we even play? That sort of thing.
Yeah, that's part of it too, and it's not even on just the high end, right? I'm sure they're concerned with what more casual, the more the lower end of the spectrum, and the more casual players are how these Symmetra changes affect those leagues as well. And I can't imagine you get a lot of those players going and bothering with the PTR.
Yeah, I mean you can't stack. Well, I forget if the games that I played in whether you could stack or not in PTR, but I was definitely playing Symmetra and not knowing what the heck I was doing with there, and people were playing all kinds of crazy comps. Like they're not anything indicative of comp play or anything like that. So I don't know how good a data it is. I feel like with the PTR it's great that they do these PTR releases very frequently and they're testing stuff. But I think the big balance changes, we didn't have that many changes like since the original announcement. They tweaked a few things, but for the most part, not much change, and they just released it as is. And then just with the Symmetra, that's pretty much how it was too. They just released her with the initial presentation they had for her. So it tells me that they might not be getting that as much data as that would be good, at least efficient for really releasing something that's balanced and pre-balanced at least, right?
It's not an easy problem to fix, though.
It isn't either. It's like I feel like you have to incentivize people to play PTR, whether it's having them like pro players, for instance, have a feedback session with them, like maybe get them to play, and maybe for us casual players have some kind of event that's PTR centric. I don't know, but it definitely is not a simple thing to figure out. And in theory, it's great that they test and they put it out there, but we have to play it. We have to actually test it.
I went and played it. I did my part.
I did too, but it's
other
like
people?
I mean, it's
yeah. No, I get it.
I did my part just to try it out more than anything else. Not play seriously play test it. So it's tough. But keep doing it. I don't want to encourage them not to do it. I mean,
it's
PTR
not like
is
it would be better
thing.
if they didn't have the PTR and just put it out in the main game immediately. So
yeah.
At least it gives them a chance to see if something game breaking happens they didn't think about. They have one opportunity to see it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's helpful. It's definitely not as helpful as I think we would like it to be, but incentivizing PTR play would be a very interesting precedent to set, because it's something we don't see in any of the other Blizzard games with PTR. And then there's Hearthstone, which don't get me started.
Which doesn't have a PTR.
Yeah. But yeah, the Symmetra feels fine. And again, I've been moving. I haven't been able to play nearly as much Overwatch as I would like.
She's fun.
But
she's really fun.
I've seen her I want to say she's been in every game I've played since the patch, but
yeah, people are trying her. I think that's normal. Like the first week again is not going to mean anything, but
yeah. I
mean, I've noticed a pretty big difference on Hanamura, for instance. Like when you're attacking, just having like a Symmetra in the back, just constantly sending those shields, it just allows your team to get in that first choke where almost everybody goes to the right if you're playing like serious and on communication, or just at least on comms with everybody, you'll go into the right. But if you're not, then at least you can have, if you're playing Symmetra or whatnot, just keep sending their shields literally every 7 seconds, and your team will eventually understand that, oh, maybe I'm supposed to run behind that shield. Maybe I'm supposed to come in, do that sort of thing. And you can have your shield generated in the back too. It's great.
And the community will learn too. I think maybe there would be a discussion to have about this at some point. We're already running late, but I'm definitely seeing people learning about, what we were discussing earlier, not dying. People run away when they're low on health a lot more now. In the past few months, I've noticed that a lot of the characters are really hard to finish off because they realize when you're low, just go and find a health pack or find your healer. So the community as a whole is learning, even if it doesn't feel that way from, moment to moment in the game, and it might be frustrating. So they'll learn about the Symmetra shield as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thanks to our patrons and our producers. Again, thanks LVE. Thank you, Game. Also, Game's a sponsor. They are both a producer and a sponsor.
Wow.
I've never had that happen before, so thank you, Game. So again, go to get.game for your .game domain. And follow the show. We're on Twitter at OverwatchCast. You can email us at mailoverwatchers@gmail.com. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, youtube.com/emovtv, or pretty much anywhere else podcasts can be found. And we really appreciate those iTunes 5-star reviews as well. Helps the show out quite a bit. Thank you this week to CJ4290, #Josh, Conrad Leet, spelt Leet, and the Prometheus, who gave us a really nice review. And one of the funniest things I read that was a compliment was, they're either very well practiced or have a great editor. To which I want to say, I've never edited a single second of any of these episodes. Case in point.
You're supposed to say yes, thanks. I'm both. No.
Case in point, Patrick's robot voice a couple times in this one. Which there's only so much you can do with Skype and talking to a lovely gentleman who's having existential gaming crises in Europe. So. Anyways, gentlemen, where can folks find your work? Starting with Chanman this week. Why not? I'll move it around.
You can find my shows. So I do other Twitch shows and podcasts on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ChanmanV. You can find the VODs too on youtube.com/ChanmanV. And I've been trying to mess around with some music videos too. So I made a Hearthstone music video that's the Grimy Goons theme. With a friend of mine who's a very talented piano player, so maybe check that out if you guys are Hearthstone fans too. And you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/ChanmanV.
Fantastic. Patrick, how about your work?
I am not Patrick on Twitter and Facebook, and you can find my general gaming show if you enjoy many different specific games, and these gentlemen's fine other shows are there to serve your needs, I'm sure. But if you also like gaming as a whole, why not listen to a general gaming show? And you can find that at FrenchSpin.com. The show is called Pixels. We just revealed a new logo, which is amazing. And, we covered a bunch of news items, which I'm sure will make your day when you listen to everything. So, again, FrenchSpin.com, you'll find that. It's called Pixels.
Awesome. Patrick, can I come on to talk about The Last of Us 2 announcement? Because I kind of just want to come on and just scream, "Oh my God, Last of Us Part 2!" Actually, there it is. There's my segment. You can record it and just put it in the next episode of Pixels.
Damn it. Well, we talked about it this Monday when we covered the PlayStation experience. And I went, "Oh my God, it's so amazing. It broke my heart and made it whole at the same time and healed my soul." And so, yeah, I'm sorry you missed it.
In my biased opinion, the greatest video game story ever told.
I completely
a lot of people say the same thing. Actually.
Yeah, it is. It's so, and I mean, I could go on and talk about The Last of Us and the trailer for The Last of Us 2 forever. But you know what? That's what you get, Garrett, for being busy with a house renovating when you could be talking about game trailers for hours. That's unfortunate,
Absolutely
but that's
could.
how it is.
That's all right. Life happens. Life finds a way to get in the way, is what I've been saying lately.
Life finds a way to get in the way.
That's really
That's
good.
a great motto right there.
Folks, you can find me on Twitter saying really dumb quotes like that on over at Garrett Art, 2 R's and 2 T's and Garrett, or R2T2, as Patrick likes to call me. You can also find my work on emove.tv. Plenty of other Blizzard gaming shows. Got a show for Hearthstone, got a show for Heroes, got a show for Warcraft now because I'm a masochist, I guess. I have too many things to talk about.
When's the Diablo show coming?
Never, because
there's just one missing.
There's not
cover
enough
them all,
content to
man.
talk about in Diablo, and a lot of it would be me going, "The story's okay." That's where my Diablo show would be. My Diablo show would be, "I can't wait for this character to end up in Heroes." That would be my Diablo show.
Oh man.
Yeah. I love Diablo, don't get me wrong, but
Aren't they on now? Don't we have Witch
Yep.
Doctor and Barbarian and Wizard and Crusader and what else? Demon Hunter. They're all in. I mean, they could add like Deckard Cain and Leia and stuff like that. But.
Yeah. I mean, I've been waiting for the Diablo 3 female Diablo since the cinematic for Heroes of the Storm
Female
that
Diablo.
shows female Diablo.
Diabla.
What the F, guys? Come on. All right, now we're getting delightfully off topic, which means it's time to end the show. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We will see you in 2 weeks' time for the next episode of Overwatchers. But until then, good luck, have fun, and don't get shot in your Santa cap.
Bye.
Bye.